You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. When the Iron Lady sings it, that makes it official, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. As always, we appreciate you guys being here. The Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as your mother-in-law, because she never liked you anyway. For 15 years, going on 16, we've been bringing you the CEOs, the billionaires, the White House presidential advisors, governors, Congress members, U.S. ambassadors, astronauts, and Pulitzer Prize winners, all the smartest people that have sat down and wrote books of stories of their lives. Sometimes the stuff you're going to learn, they've learned the hard way through multiple lives, maybe if you're certain Hollywood celebrities, or at least one life where they've learned over years, decades, almost a century sometimes for some of the folks we've had on the show. And they bring to you the most smartest lessons that they've learned through all that they've been through, and hopefully can help you, number one, make you feel like you're not alone in whatever problems you're going through. But number two, help you figure out how to resolve those problems and get out of them, or inspire you or motivate you or just entertain you as well. We have another gentleman joining us on the show today. He's going to be talking about his mission and what he's accomplishing and trying to do. Neal Fisher joins us. He calls himself the Unified Man, and he is a nation building instructor. His book is called A Unified Man, Building a Nation from Within. He helps people reach their perfect form, extinguishing all their weaknesses permanently so their strengths flourish automatically, becoming unrecognizable, unbreakable, and unshakable. Welcome to the show, Neal. How are you?
Man, just feeling fresh, bud. Early in the morning on a Saturday, and where else would you be? Where else would you be, possibly?
There you go. You're ahead of us there in the Australia. We're still on our Friday, so I'm still stuck at work while you're just enjoying yourself.
Yeah, you're living in the past, man. You got to move forward from that.
Well, can you tell me what's going to happen in the future? Because
it's going to rain tonight. It's going to rain tonight. That's what's going to happen in the future.
I saw a TikTok where a gal was saying, why can't we just get Australia to tell us what's going to happen in the future? Because they're already there. And I'm just like,
yeah, well, I mean, when you really understand time, it's all past, present, and future exists simultaneously. Yeah. So
I don't know that I trust Australians anyway, because their toilets go the opposite direction. That seems weird.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I trust Yanks either, eh? I'm not face to face with you, so we'll find out.
There you go. But we love you guys down there. So, Neal, give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, just www.theunifiedman.com.au, and just Instagram, just Neal Fisher, NealFisher, with an underscore at the end.
There you go. So your book that you have coming out, it should be available soon everywhere. People can also get it from your site. A Unified Man, Building a Nation from Within. Give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside of that.
It's everything I used and I still continue to use. It's a system. It's if somebody handed me that book when I was 18, I could have saved 12 years of my life, you know, and it's just concise. It's a financial education, a health education, a way to structure and regiment your life, and also to a path of discovery within, because I can't tell exactly what it is that you're going to do with your life, but I can give you tools to get rid of the things that blind you so you can have more clarity and figure out what it is that you in your heart truly need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
Let me let you finish, because I was waiting for the overview on your book there.
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. It's about unifying, because we live in a torn world, torn identities, torn families, and torn within. We have a million different things pulling us in all these different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get rid of all those distractions and all that wasted energy, then you can really have clarity and listen to what's within. And like I said, like the weaknesses, whether that's drinking, whether that's smoking, alcohol, fast food, Netflix, phone addiction, drama addiction, whatever it is, when you get rid of all these things that hold you back, you automatically start to rise. Like you have constant forwards propulsion automatically. And that's basically the overview of the book. The first part, the unifying man part anyway. The building a nation from within, that's something I discovered because it's an accurate way to view our lives. Instead of comparing our lives to like a car or a computer, we compare it to what it really is, which is a nation state. It's taking the macrocosm, bringing it down to the microcosm. Every organization, every institution, every tribe, every military, everything is a reflection of the systems of a single human being. And what is that? The consciousness, the seat of experience inside your skull, behind your mind, when you have self-awareness and observation, that's the leader. That's the incumbent. That's the president. That's the commander. That must be clear in what it wants. So you can have control over your mind. Your mind is like the government. It's the keys to power. It's the web of influence. You know, we've all got all these things going on in our heads. Bring the whole court into order and focus it on what it really wants, so everything's working in your favor. When you get that sorted, finally the body. The body is the nation itself. It's the general population. It's the healthcare system. It's the infrastructure. It's the transport. It's the military. People who do martial arts, they're a one-man army. And you need to look after those people within. You need to look after those cells. They have to be healthy so they can be productive. And they need recreation as well. So a reason I called it building a nation from within is because it's taking full command, control, and rulership over your internal territory.
For yourself. And that's why you call it unified man, so where you're unified with all your countries inside of yourself, I guess.
Yeah, or just the nation within, the state within, the entity within. And for the audience too, it's also for women. It's not just exclusively for men. I just called it a unified man because I think it sounds cool. That's just what came to me as I was writing it. If I called it a unified person, it just sounds bland. So ladies as well.
There you go. So unified man as a term of the state of man, as it were, as a human. This is kind of interesting to me. Basically, one of your axioms is the goal isn't to change the world. The goal is to change yourself within.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the reason why building a nation from within is so important, because you have to understand that you can't own anything in life. You can't have possession of anything external. And why is that? It's because the earth owns us. Simple. The only thing you ever have, everything can leave. Everything can be taken away from you. All that you really, truly have is your body and your physical presence. That's it. And that's where it all starts, and that's where it all finishes. So don't worry about what the rest of the world is doing. Like you need to be aware of what's happening and how the world actually works and how it's all the strings are pulled. But then it's good just to forget about it because it's just going to stress you out. I've been down that rabbit hole. It just brings fear, discontent, and just turmoil to your life. So just worry about your world. What's in your immediate presence, where your feet are, that's where you are. That's all that matters. Just worry about that, and everything else will just take care of itself.
And you bring up some good points. There's a lot of distraction in this world. There's a lot of things that, hey, you should worry about this over here. You should worry about that over there. And, you can get caught up focusing on, I should do this. And a lot of people are sometimes just projecting, their personal problems onto everything else. Or that view, but also, they spend so much time focusing on other people's problems, then maybe they should focus on their own and what's in the mirror.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, that's where it all starts and that's where it all finishes. And that's the only thing you have control of, because it's hard for us to have control within when we don't have control without. That's why I talk about the eliminating the weaknesses. You don't have any weaknesses if you acknowledge what they are. Like me, Gluttony is my biggest sin. I know that. So I stay away from situations that require self-control. That's the best way to have self-control.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, whether it's drinking, whatever it is, get rid of it. And then if you can't control what you put in your body, your character's flawed. There's something within that will always come around to get you, bite you in the ass later.
There you go. So tell us about your hero's journey. Gluttony, you referenced the gluttony. Tell us kind of what has shaped you since you were growing up and over the last few years that led you to go on this new journey and write this book.
Well, my story, Chris, is your story. It's everybody's story. As you say, it's the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who has ambition, anyone who has assertion in life that wants to get somewhere, they normally start when they're young, and they go out and they have all the energy, but they don't have all the wisdom. So that can get them in a deep shit quick smart. So I went out, I tried hard. I've done all the seminars, education, read all the books, spent all the money on all the courses, and then took all the risks. I borrowed all this money and started day trading and doing things like that. The problem was, because I was immature, I didn't have control over my behaviors. I was smoking heaps. Can we swear on this show? Is that all right or what?
Yeah, you can swear a little bit.
You don't go over the top.
Technically, you swear as much as you want, but YouTube, if we swear too much, we'll bury the video in search.
Well, anyway, so. I smoked shiploads of pot. So shitload. So all the things that got me to a level of success, I took for granted. I took my relationship with my high school sweetheart for granted. I took my health for granted. I became lazy and grandiose, because when you smoke that crap, you're not on Earth anymore. Like when you drink, you're still on Earth, but when you smoke that stuff, you're up in space, man. So you become very delusional, and you're not very present, and your perception and how you're being perceived becomes misconstrued in your mind. So then, basically, and I knew problems were building, and I ignored them. And then I woke up one day and there was a mountain of debt. I was unhealthy, and my girl left me.
Oh wow!
And then I was left to and it was all obvious. It was all obvious. I just ignored it because I was immature, and then from there it became just 8 years of just hard manual labor, just pouring concrete. But the beauty was there was positive side effects from it. Number one, perseverance. Number two, fortitude. But most of all, it was spending time around real men that lived in the old world. They didn't go on the internet. They didn't have social media. All they had was their world. Where their feet were was where reality was at, which is all it's ever at, is your immediate presence. So I learned all this strong character. I learned honor, sticking to your word, your reputation, being reliable, and being able to rely on other people. And it's formed a tight bond even to this day, where I can see these people and they're my brothers, they're my fathers, they're my uncles. It's a concrete family. It's just solid. And you can't beat that. You can't beat the real thing. No matter how much you connect with people on the internet, it's fantastic. Omnipotence and omnipresence is fantastic. But ultimately, real life, solid, strong connections in the flesh with solid character, I mean, that's the cornerstone of human existence.
There you go. And one thing you talk about is unifying the mind and the body, bridging the gap between the conscious and the subconscious. You call it the ultra conscious. Tell us about that, what it means.
It means matter over mind. The easiest and most effective way to affect your mind is to affect your body. When you have negative self-talk, it's accurate. Anytime I'm not doing what I know I should be doing, I get the hardest time. I struggle as well. And people need to understand that. I'm not some perfect being. This is a daily process that has to be done. It's just part of the deal, man. It's never ending. So when you have control over your body, eat right, hydrate, exercise, and don't fill your mind with garbage, and don't hang around garbage people, you automatically start to have a positive attitude. Because a human being, is born. A child is born pure. It is the most innocent, the most beautiful, highest form because it's untainted. It hasn't been corrupted by the civilization or self-doubt or any of this negativity. You know, a child. You look at any generally any child. They're happy. They're playful. They're sharing. They're caring. Obviously, it's a bit different these days because of what we've done to the planet and what we've done to ourselves. But in essence, that's the natural state of a human being. So when we look at people that have just good lives and they're positive, it's not a big effort. It's about subtraction. That's how you reach the sublime. That's what I mean about getting rid of the weaknesses and you automatically become strong, is because that's the automatic natural state of any organism on this planet. So in saying that, that purity, there is an unborn entity within all of us. Life isn't a matter of awareness. Life isn't a matter of belief. It's a matter of awareness. Doesn't matter what you believe. You have to be aware that there is a greater universal animating force that governs everything. And we're all a unique shard of that source. So within us is that unique, powerful being. That's why we have intuition. That's why we have feelings and we can follow our heart, is because within is that highest version of self. So it's subtraction. Get rid of all the crap, all the misconceptions, all the false egos and all the things that distract us, so we can allow that powerful entity within to flow through us. Instead of trying to put on masks of what we think we should be doing or how we think we should be, just get the hell out of the way and allow the force to flow through us. Easy to say, hard to do.
There you go. Let the force flow through you.
It's true, man. The force is real, bud. The force is real. It is.
So there you go. Let's see. This is pretty interesting. I like how you identify this ultra conscious, the unborn entity within, and basically your true self. And I guess you talk about this as part of your internal compass of who we're born to be.
Yeah, every single one of us has an internal compass. And that compass always points true north. And the needle on that compass is fear. There's a primary fear of we're afraid of a lion, we're afraid of drowning, we're afraid of heights. But the secondary fear is the call of the conscious. What are you most afraid to do in life? Are you most afraid to write that book? Are you afraid to start that business? Are you afraid to quit your job? Are you afraid to talk to that girl? Are you afraid to start an organization? Are you afraid to step out of your comfort zone? You feel it in your heart. Every single morning, without fail, I have discomfort and fear in my heart and in my solar plexus. That's the energetic center of pride and self-importance and self-expression. I know I have to step out of my comfort zone every day. I have to go towards that fear, because everything you want is on the other side of fear. On the other side of that comfort zone, that's where the strength is. You have to be uncomfortable and feel like you're not strong because you're not, like some fictional character that doesn't feel fear. It's like, nah, you just have to sort of go through it and accept it. And on the other side of that, that's where you get the pride. That's where you get the growth. And it's a daily process, man. If you just stop, and that's why it's important to get rid of all the weaknesses and all the distractions and all the alcohol and all that crap, because it masks that compass. It compensates. And I used to be that person for years. As soon as I got rid of it, you have to sit with yourself, and it's inescapable, and the pain becomes so great that you're just forced to overcome it.
There you go. It's to quit having distractions, quit medicating yourself, and deal with your issues. So basically, you ask, what is the ultimate goal? What is my life's task? Is that what we need to do once we clear away the distractions and try and find our way through whatever?
Yeah, we all have something, and that comes back to the unborn entity. We're all put here, for a reason. We all have gifts. We all have a power, and being powerful and strong is people, what do they say? They try and put that down. They try and soften that because it seems like people are threatened by that. But what's the difference between a superhero and a supervillain? Their character. They both have massive power to exert enormous force. But what separates them is a character. The superhero questions himself and he goes through an internal odyssey to become mature and strong and uplift others. Whereas a supervillain is just a miserable prick. You know, he hasn't faced his demons within, so he takes it out on the world. So our natural state is positivity and power. And that's the mission. We all have the same goals. Every single one of us. We all want health, wealth, happiness, you know, spiritual connection, family, fulfillment, self-actualization. Every one of us has the same goals. And that's why it's my book and what I do and what I teach and what I share. It's just a universal principle. And why is it universal? Because we're all part of the same species. We're all unique, but we're also very similar as well. So
Definitely. I mean, we all have the same human nature. Human nature hasn't really changed much in evolved.
Never does. We think we're more advanced because we have information technology and cars and planes and spaceships, but we never change. It's in our nature.
Definitely. It's funny today how many people are deluded to think we're evolved, and we're just still cavemen.
We're probably de-evolved now.
I would agree with you there. So what sort of daily process do you use? How do you go through your day? What's some examples that we can use in utilizing some of your tools?
You just cover the basics. And if you can cover the basics, everything else takes care of itself. And the reason the basics are hardest to master is because they're subtle and boring. And because they're subtle and boring, nobody does it. But they're what makes the difference. Get up when the sun comes up. Drink water. Clean up your diet. Like I just eat only meat, fruit, and vegetables. Just eat what you would if you're in the wild. Educate yourself. You know, learn something new every day and go towards your work, not just your job, but something else outside of that. You have to find your craft, something that gives you that deep fulfillment, and that's where you'll get into that flow state where you can allow the force to really come through you. So that's what I do every day. I get up early, I work out, look after my body, and I go to work and do something you're afraid to do every day. I mean, it's really simple and subtle, but the results will take a long time, but the feedback is immediate. The feedback you get from that, every decision, you know whether it's a good decision or a wrong decision, because you either feel good or bad. You know, it's pretty third grade stuff, but I mean, that's what works.
There you go. I like what you talk about, how a unified man rules his internal territory. I often say men are kings. We spend a lifetime building ourselves, adding value. We're not born into value. We're not born, we're not valued for being beauty. We're valued for what we build in this world and what we bring to it and what we contribute. And it takes a lifetime for us to shape ourselves and build something that is worthwhile. I mean, our dating and sexual market value peaks around 55. It's when we make our most money and when we have our most resources, when we contribute most to the world. In our accumulation of everything we've done over life. And so finding, your life purpose and what's important, as you talk about, I think is really, really important, because you've got to build that nation, if you will, or that kingdom, as I like to call it, in being a king, within yourself, so that comes from inside of you to that which is outside of you. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Poetic as I can get there.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. How about let's switch. I'll just interview you now, eh? That was awesome. That was great. So what else can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, it's true. I like your nation building inside, because people have to realize that is inside you. And so many people get distracted. So many people look for FOMO. So many people get on Instagram and they go, oh, if only I could be that guy or that girl. Well, if only if I could have that. And, they make it look so easy. And a lot of times they're faking it, or a lot of times they inherit it, or sometimes they stole it. And so, but getting back down to the core of who we are internally and within ourselves is I think equally important, as you mentioned.
Yeah. And you are that person. We're all that person. Like, even if you hang around the legitimate, authentic people, the ideals, you look at their lives and they're exactly like I described before. They're just basic. They just hit the basics. And if you spent a day with them, they get up, they go to the toilet, they have a shower, they eat breakfast, they go to work. They might lay on the beach for an hour in the afternoon or something, or, go on a date with a girl, but then they go to bed again. It's simple. And they're where they are is because they just focused exclusively on their own world. And, I can still get caught up in that. Like I said, I struggle as well. The most important thing for people too is to not isolate themselves, really. That's why we struggle when we try to do things by ourselves, is because it's unnatural. It's unnatural to do anything by yourself. I mean, we wouldn't survive ever, So when people are having a hard time, myself included, it's because I'm too isolated. So the best thing people can ever do, ever, and continue to do, whether they're struggling or they're succeeding, is just stay social, stay connected, stay around other people. And, you're never alone when, that's why we have a voice. That's why we have flat feet. We're supposed to move. We're supposed to speak. So get amongst it.
There you go. What any of the stories you want to share out from your book and your adventures? Anything you want to tease out of the book? A story that maybe, a cathartic moment or something you learned from?
I think we all have a downfall. I mean, it's inevitable. You can learn as much as you want, and it's a continual process. Like even now, the story that I described in my book of just the general my story, it's just happening all over again. Like even now, I'm just being through a recent separation, moved to a new city. Well, I've never lived in a big city, so I moved to a city, starting a new life. Like new habits, like even my daily routine I described in the book, it's updated now. Everything's always evolving. So, and then now I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and doing a new occupation and new work. So it's a never-ending process. You never reach some point where it's all over, So you got to recognize the patterns. So I mean, it's interesting. So it's scary. It's scary. It's scary starting again. But hey.
But I mean, it seems like what you've done is you've gotten adaptive to change, and change is a constant in the universe. It's a factor. Some people don't like change. They're like, oh, I don't want things to change. Things are going to change whether you like it or not. I mean, that's a constant. So it sounds like you've better prepared yourself, and instead of seeing things as an obstacle, you're meeting the moment and taking it on.
Yeah, you start to change. You change before the change happens to you, and the longer you ignore it, that's when it will just sneak up on you. And that's when you will have a crisis, a disaster, a learning event. So, and it's never easy. I mean, it's easy to talk about, but when you're going through it, it's hard and you struggle and it's uncomfortable. It all looks romantic in hindsight and when you're telling the story, but, it's discomfort. But I mean, that's the nature of growth. And look at every single organism on this planet. What do? They all grow as big and as powerful and as influential as they possibly can. I mean, that's our natural state. And that's why we have such a hard time, myself included, is because we stem our growth. So, I mean, be proud. I mean, I wouldn't say be full of yourself, but be full of yourself. Take full ownership. Just get out there and just have a go. You'd be surprised, man. And you can't explain to people how good it feels to have that self-assuredness, to have that enlightenment, to have that higher perception and control over your behaviors and thoughts. You can't explain it. You can only show it. And once people know, you never turn back. And that's what I mean. It becomes automatic. Teasers for the book. I mean, that's it. It's not a big book. It's just short and concise. And it's just, here's the information. Here's what you can do today. And let's connect. That's pretty much it. Let's do it together. That's what it's all about. Here's what you need to know. Here's what I know, and I think you need to know it. Here's what I do, and I think if you do it, you're going to have a great life. And number 3, let's connect. Let's unlock your genius, because that's what it's all about. Everyone, the unborn entity, everyone has that genius potential. And I want that genius because I want it within myself. I'm looking for those people that have that genius so we can work together and we can build the future, because that's the mission, is to build the nation. You and I are the nation. It supernates the physical plane. You can't see it, but you can feel it and you can experience it. It's a new world. It's a new reality. It's a different way of operation. And it's also the other part of the mission is to build the future. And the future is a time that's different and better than now. And we get there through unifying and unlocking our genius.
There you go. And now on your website, you do your coaching. You've got a course and things on becoming a unified man, mindset, fitness, and nutrition program. Tell us about the service you offer over there in addition to the book that you sell.
Yeah, that's why I give the book away for free. That's here's the information. Here's the raw data. You can take it and use it. But if you want that help to really cover the bases, because again, when we do things alone, when we're isolated, we struggle. It's unnatural. You want that assistance? Well, we'll work together, and I can help you just extinguish all those weaknesses. Because I extinguished mine, and it's not that hard. Fucking hard part is not doing it. So it's just, again, covering the basics. Get your nutrition right. Get your health right. Get new ideas. Flush all the negative beliefs and all the wasted thought out of your mind so you can get back to that pure baseline that I talked about, the natural state of a human being. And then from there, you know, if you're wise enough and consistent enough, well, you should be able to float from there. But if you really want that tailored, customized, hands-on help and assistance for designing and structuring a system to unlock your genius, well, that's where I work with people one-on-one, because I can't say exactly what it is for you. Only you can discover that, but we can work together to give you clarity so then we can develop something that's going to lead towards whatever it is within you that we can bring out.
There you go. And I notice you like the symbol that you're using that appears behind you for people who watch this on YouTube of the scorpion's tail, I think it is.
Yeah, that's right. And that's not my symbol. Like I didn't invent that. And anybody who knows what that is, knows exactly what that is. But it's a symbol of strength. It's a symbol of masculinity. It's a symbol of defiance. It's a symbol of non-compliance with the world machine and the overlords, so to speak. And that's why I say just don't worry about the world, because there's overlords. Life's not a matter of belief, it's awareness. All of those conspiracies, all of those nutcases, guess what? They're right. There is a new world order, and it's here. It's always has been here. But who cares? It doesn't matter, because as long as you're not afraid of it, it can't affect you. And you just worry about your own crap, and the crap will just disappear, you know. So that's what that symbol represents, is just self-sovereignty and self-assuredness and strength, and just not going with the herd, man. That's what it's all about.
There you go. And you talk about ultimately it's not what you do, it's who you become.
Yeah. But my life's not different now to what my life's actually way more boring and way more simple than it ever was. But again, through subtraction, that's where you reach the sublime. I have more connection. I have more satisfaction, more fulfillment. I have more, I think I said connection. I have clarity and understanding and self-worth, you know? So I forget what the question was, but anyway.
Just who you become, but I think you described it well for us.
Oh, yeah, who you become, yes.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, because ultimately the physical environment isn't going to dictate. The external things aren't going to fulfill you or make you happy. Like, you look at people that have shiny cars and shiny houses and great empires, but ultimately they might be struggling with they will be struggling with their health.
Or they're bankrupt inside, or morally, or ethically.
Yeah, that's right. They've got guilt, they've got shame, and like there's nothing worse than carrying the burdens of karma. Like there's nothing worse, you know. So who you become is all that matters, because it comes back to the nation from within. That's all you have. It all starts and ends there. And again, you can't describe to people how good it feels or what it feels like to ascend all of your lower immaturities. It's just it's the natural progression. Like you said, a man has to become value. You know, in general, a woman just is. She's born with beauty. She's born with the faculties. She has the most important job of continuing the species. You know, without women, it doesn't matter how strong a man you are, we're all doomed. But we're doomed without women. You know, so all you ladies out there, we love you. You're the best. Thank you.
There
but a man has to become who you become. you have to go through a process of initiation. And
Mhm.
that's like people like you, people like me, educators, teachers, role models, initiators. That's a natural progression of teacher, student, master, apprentice. It's our responsibility to take what we've learned, to take the strength and pass it on to others.
There you go. It says here on your website you used to waste $15,000 every year on marijuana, alcohol, and fast food.
Yep.
Damn, that's
Just
Fridays
drink.
around here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We don't do that no more. There probably was a time of that, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, you look at how much distraction that was, how much time was wasted on that. You know, I drank pretty hard for 20 years and it wasn't addicted to it, but I abused it. I abused my body with it actually. But
Yep.
you know, for a lot of years it was fuel. I mean, it was kind of always fuel. You know, it was
Yeah, I can
I
get
think the
that.
sugar would come you know, compound inside of me, and you know, I'd be tired and I'd be like, I want to go to bed, and I'm like, oh, I got tons of entrepreneurial work to do. Have some vodka, and I'd relax, and by relaxing I'd have more energy, you know. And but I, you know, I thought that it was a good relaxation. Turns out you're just poisoning yourself. And of course the next morning, you know, I'm losing traction because I'm not functioning well, I'm dehydrated and
Yeah.
hungover sometimes, and you know, I'm spending, you know, I was a pretty good boozer. I was buying, you know, Tito's and expensive vodka. um but you know, yeah, I look now probably how much I wasted on Tito's vodka. Was it $40 a bottle or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Mountains.
yeah.
Mountains.
Yeah.
And it's not balance. Here's the thing, Chris. It's not balance. Getting drunk isn't balance. Eating a
Hmm.
pizza isn't balance. Watching
Hmm.
some stupid movie isn't balance. What's balance is deep breathing, sort of meditation, yoga, being outside in nature, going for a swim, um, uh, connection with others, you know, deep conversation. That's balance. Like poisoning ourselves and deadening ourselves. And it took me a long time to realize that.
Hmm.
And ultimately, the wise man knows that the bandage only hides his wounds. It's he that must heal them. So
There you go. I like
alcohol is just another bandage, man. That's all it was.
it.
Masking
Yeah,
again the internal compass. That's all it does. That's all
there
it
you go.
does.
There you go. So give us your pitch out to people as we go out on the show. Tell people how they can onboard with you, utilize your services, get to know you better, reach out to you, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, man, I'm here for help, man. Just go to the websites www.theunifiedman.com.au. Go to my Instagram, which is just Neal Fisher, Nealfisher, with an underscore at the end. Just get on there, send me a message, and send me your email, and I'll give you the book for free. There'll be a physical copy coming in the next few days or the next week. That's free as well. You just pay the shipping for it, or just give me your email, and I'll send you the PDF for free. And there's an audio version coming as well. So get amongst that. And then ultimately, if you need help implementing all that, hit me up. Just send me a message, contact me anyway, and we'll get you there. Again, it's not hard. It's the hard part's not doing it. And I know that because I lived the hard
There
way
you
for
go.
years and
Don't do
years.
the hard part.
I didn't have to do that, you know, but I
Yeah.
did because I had mentors and ideals and role models, but I didn't have someone like me that said to skip all that crap. And ultimately, too, even if you just need someone to talk to, again, we all struggle when we're isolated. Just give
Mhm.
me a chat, man. Let's have a chat. And because again, I'm not immune. I'm not some super being. When I say reaching your perfect form, I mean getting rid of all those vices, weaknesses, and going towards your ideal. Every day that you ascend, that you come that little bit better, you've reached another level of perfect form. It's just getting
Mm.
rid of all the corruption and the conditioning of the civilization and getting back to that purity. So I need help as well. I have mentors and I have coaches and I have instructors that I reach out to. I've got many, and I'm just another link in the chain, and so can you. You know, once you reach a level, then you can help pass the knowledge on to someone else. It's our responsibility.
There you go. Well, this has been inspiring to have you on. We really appreciate it, Neal. Give us your .com one more time as we go out.
www.theunifiedman.com.au. theunifiedman.com.au or Instagram, Neal Fisher.
There you go. Thank you for coming on the show, Neal. We really appreciate it.
Oh, always a pleasure, man. I love it. Just, you can't beat it. You
Great
just really
discussion.
can't beat it. You can't. We're social creatures. You're supposed to talk, man. So just get it out there.
That's true. Well, thank you very much. Thanks to our audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss One, the Tickety Talkity, and Chris Voss, Facebook.com. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.